Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and it has been a long time since I've seen this screen. I was browsing around ModDB and found that there was a high-res texture pack for American McGee's Alice, so I thought I'd go back. Now this is the remastered version that came with Madness Returns in 2011, but I also added the high-res texture pack on top of that, which is actually made mostly out of textures from the remastered version and then touched up again, as well as a FOV fix, which is why the menu is still kind of squished here. But yeah, let me dive back into this and see how much I remember. Alright, I don't remember there being a difficulty selection, so I think this is a remastered change. I guess maybe they changed some of the gameplay stuff to make it more palatable to people who were playing it in 2011. Since by then, you know, it was kind of, old games are hard, yo. I guess we'll just go with medium? We're gonna skip the intro just because you've either seen it or don't care enough to see it.
Please don't dawdle, Alice. We're very late indeed.
You've gone quite mangy, Cat, but your grin's a comfort.
And you've picked up a bit of an attitude, still curious and willing to learn, I hope.
Wonderland's become quite strange. How is one to find her way?
As knowing where you're going is preferable to being lost, ask. Rabbit knows a thing or two, and I myself don't need a weather vane to tell which way the wind blows. Let your need guide your behavior. Suppress your instinct to lead. Pursue, Rabbit.
Now, I probably should have gone back and watched the original videos to compare, because I don't remember this looking that much worse than this, but it does look like everything's sharpened a bit. Certain grittiness to the textures now. I think Cat looks better. Did her, oh geez, how do you say this? I want to say Ives, the little skeleton bow tie on the back of her dress, who has the name YVES, which is French. I assume it's Ives or something like that. But yeah, I don't remember him having physics there when you run. That might be a remastered thing as well. The FOV thing definitely makes it noticeably pulled back, which I don't know if you really need a bigger FOV for a third-person game like this. Then again, I was never one of those people who was like, man, this FOV is so restrictive, it's giving me motion sickness. So I guess I'm not the best person to judge if this looks better in that regard.
Our land is destroyed, our spirit crushed.
Reminds me of the asylum. Is there no joy here?
Slavery and happiness do not dwell in the same house.
When the path is problematical, consider a leap of faith. Ride the wind.
I also want to say the dialogue sounds a bit touched up, the audio quality. Speaking of audio quality, I do remember that the audio quality on these original videos sounds like shit. But I also realized that was like 5 years ago when I started this game. So I've learned a little bit in that time, though maybe not nearly as much as I should have. Can I just float forever on one of these? I don't remember. I guess I can.
Stir up no trouble, stranger. The Red Queen's agents are ruthless.
I'm not afraid of her or her creatures. Never was, really. You should stand up to them.
Defiance is useless. While the Queen reigns, only death can release us from this misery.
Or her death, I suppose?
Meta-essence is the life force of Wonderland. That of your enemies is especially potent. Collect what you can. Use it wisely.
Yeah, that little health tutorial is still quite non sequitur. It has nothing to do with that other conversation. Another thing that I kind of remember from the original is that the dialogue is all really weird in this, in perhaps not an intentional way, It seems like everybody speaks really fast, like they're trying to get all the dialogue out in one take. That's where I came from. So we don't actually have our Vorpal Blade yet. No, I think we get that right here. Here's the health thing.
Your knife is necessary, but not sufficient. Always collect what's useful. Reject only your ignorance, and you may survive.
Like, I feel like there's not enough of a pause between sentences. It's like he's trying to do it all in one breath or something. The white rabbit still looks horrendous, but that's intentional. Yeah, so I think this looks better. I don't think it looks that much better. I don't remember exactly, though.
Everyone seems completely dejected. Are things really as bad as all that?
The truth would reduce you to a blubbering baby. Are you the savior Rabbit has been telling us about all this time?
I shouldn't think so. I'm a person. And just now, I wish to get very small. About this big.
Calls for serious twisting. You'll need to go sideways, not forward. If I knew how, I'd go sideways myself.
Not twisted, small. I wish to become about this big.
The Fortress of Doors holds such secrets, but it will take more than a wish to get inside.
Doors have locks. Locks need keys, which you don't have. Let's hope the doors are open.
And if not, there may be more than one way to skin a cat, if you'll pardon the expression.
Most unpleasant metaphor. Please avoid it in future.
Like, Alice is fine. She actually talks like a person, which I guess makes sense since she's the only actual person here. But Cheshire especially just seems to, like, rush through his entire Oh, jeez, I fell in the water already. Off to a great start. Okay, the jumping is still kind of weird. There's a bit of a delay after you land before you can move, where she has to, like, do that little bending knees animation. Alright, so card soldiers, we've got a regular swipe, and of course we can throw the knife. I feel like there used to be a longer charge time on the knife. They might have made that faster. Again, as a quality of life improvement. Well, you can actually read these signs now. They seem pretty clear, so that's probably touched up. Man, has it really been 5 years since I
Only a
played this
few
game?
find the way. Some don't recognize it when they do. Some don't ever want to.
Feels like I haven't been doing this whole talking over video games thing for so
told us
long.
a champion would come. Are you that champion?
Perhaps. Can you get me inside the Fortress of Doors?
Oh no, I wouldn't dare. Since the upheaval, we've all become gutless half-wits. I can barely risk crossing the road. But make your way to the mines, the deepest pit. There's one wiser and braver than myself who might help. He still lives free.
He doesn't have this glowing orb attached to him, which I'm not sure we ever get any indication of what those are for, other than slavery device.
Every adventure requires a first step. Trite but true, even here.
I am a little unsure whether the sharpening makes these textures look better because, I mean, this is a fairly dark game, and I don't just mean, like, thematically. So a lot of these textures are supposed to be kind of dark, so having the sharpness kind of make the lighter parts stick out makes them look a little weird, at least on these rock textures. I remember when I had to stop recording in between levels because of the desync issues. How things have changed a little bit.
Hanging ropes are as good as stepladders to those who know how to use them.
I am not one of those people.
Why do you pursue me to this deserted place?
To benefit from your wisdom.
Even blurred vision is valued by the blind. If I were clever, Should I cower in this slag heap? I'm not wise, girl. I've just grown old.
I wish to get very small, no bigger than a mouse. Do you know how I might do that?
Only that? Oh, yes. I could manage that. For a price.
I have nothing of value.
You have nerve and your health. Mine are nearly gone. I've seen too much suffering, and I smoke too much, you see.
What must I do?
In the Card Guard's compound, a particularly rough diamond holds a key. Retrieve it. I will repay the favor.
I do remember this bit. I will say that I never found the original game when I did the original playthrough to be that weird to play even then, when it was fairly old. But playing this now, it still feels kind of natural. I guess I played enough of it to get used to it. So I don't know if they really needed all those changes. I mean, the jumping is the only thing I find that's still kind of awkward. You don't have that much air control. She sort of just goes in the direction you jump. You can't, like, change your mind. And it's just kind of floaty. Like, you don't really jump the distance you want to go, which I guess is why they have that shoe indicator, which I do remember from the original game. It kind of shows you where you're going to land. Also, who is that dwarf guy supposed to be? I mean, it's been a while since I brushed up on my Wonderland lore, but I can't think of anyone who's just a short guy who's supposed to be wise. Oh yeah, this is where we go on a random tour of the mines, and nothing really happens, except some rocks fall. Skip that. Maybe hard was the default difficulty, because I could have sworn it took 2 throws to decapitate these guys. Also, man, with the way Alice cuts cards, she'd make a pretty good dealer. Speaking of cards.
52 pickup is a staple of juvenile humor, but when the deck slices and dices, it's no laughing matter.
I remember using the cards a lot, but I don't remember them being a great weapon, because they don't do a lot of damage. But they do have that homing lock on, so you can just kind of spam them. And then the secondary was the throw a bunch of them at once. And it uses up our magic meter on the right there, which we also get from Essence. You know, for a preteen or however old she's supposed to be here, she's pretty strong to be able to pull herself up these ledges. Girl's got ups. If he can just shrink all the time, even when going through doors, why do we need to go through all this trouble? Why can't he just tell us how to shrink? I mean, later on, Alice gets the power to shrink on command in Madness Returns. I was hoping I'd catch that ledge. I'm pretty sure you can grab any ledge that you can actually get on top of.
You have the key. Very resourceful. Rabbit's confidence is not misplaced. He is no fool.
I certainly hope he is not.
Use the key to free my clan from the oppressive burden they carry. Any fight against the Queen's tyranny.
And then he flies us to the Fortress of Doors. It's funny, he complains about being a smoker too, or smoking too much, but then has a bicycle-powered blimp.
There's a school inside the fortress where you'll find certain items for creating a concoction that will make you small.
What items exactly?
Items, girl. You'll know them when you see them. Speaking of seeing things, we should avoid the card guard's notice. Hang on. Damn it. We've been seen.
And then we jump off and land in the fortress, or just on the edge of the fortress. With another Red Queen tongue tentacle thing, since she is connected to all parts of Wonderland. Make your ice wand very small in only 3 days or less using a magic concoction made with items. In Wonderland, Dong extends you. I don't remember if falling off of here was fatal before. I want to say that most falls were, but I could be wrong. Again, it's been a very long time. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it so that falling off of shit doesn't kill you. Okay, I remember going in this door is the way to go, but I think you teleport or something. Oh, God. I keep turning and falling off. But I don't remember if you can get up on the wall and if there's anything up here. I'm gonna say this might be a secret or something I missed the first time through. But I don't think this game really had as many secrets as the second one, which had quite a few secret collectibles. Yeah, looks like there's a weapon you can get up here earlier. Unless it's just the cards again. What is that? It does look like the cards. I wonder if that changes anything, if we get, like, more cards? Because I remember there were the demon dice, and if you pick them up multiple times, you get extra dice. Now this looks like a secret. But I can't think of anything that would, like, blow this up or anything. Also, if you hold shift, you get a nice little serial killer strut with the knife. Stupid crack. Yeah, so you can't go back out once you go in here. Oh boy! It was my favorite enemies in the whole game. I mean, they're a lot more annoying when there's actually places you can fall off because their scream pushes you. Ah yes, I remember the Maelstrom area. With the giant door that flies by. Alright, well, I don't want to go too far into this because, obviously, I've already played this in a recorded for the internet fashion. But, yeah, I think this still seems perfectly playable, and this does make it look a little better, I guess. Touches up some of the rough edges, though. The game could really do with some anti-aliasing. Look at just the jaggies on her arms. But other than that, yeah, I think this makes it look a little better, and the FOV fix definitely helps to see more of it. So yeah, if I'd say if you're one of those people who either still own the original or got the remastered version with Madness Returns, then you should definitely throw this on there if you plan on ever playing through it again. I'm not sure if I really would play through this again, but not because it's a bad game. More because I can't even play through the games I actually recently bought, let alone old games that I played before.
Time to raise some havoc. The dogs of war are loose.
I remember this, the Berserk Potion or whatever. The closest equivalent to the Hysteria ability in the second game. So I'd say she looks better with the Hysteria thing than like this. Had a bit of a Pac-Man thing going on there. They were all running away from me. Anyhow, this is still American McGee's Alice. I keep wanting to say Madness Returns, but it's not for that. And yeah, I would say if you want to see more of this, go back and watch my playthrough of it, but honestly, you probably shouldn't because the audio quality alone is kind of awful. I really wish I could re-upload those without having to, you know, upload new versions of them. Because I still have all the video files, so I could just, you know, touch up the audio and re-export them without any quality loss, really, in video. But YouTube doesn't have, like, a replacement uploader. You can't just upload to replace a current video, so I don't know. It would be nice to fix that stuff up so it doesn't sound nearly as awful. I don't sound nearly as nasally and tinny. I probably still sound nasally and tinny. Maybe a little less tinny, because I actually know how to fix that, but definitely nasally. Anyhow, yeah, I've been Shadefire. This is American McGee's Alice, and it is, well, I guess the only way to get this that won't cost you hundreds of dollars is to buy Madness Returns, which will give you this as well, as long as it's a, you know, not in second-hand copy, because that was their sort of copy protection, since it's obviously EA. And I'm pretty sure you can get Madness Returns on Origin if you're one of those people who is not super offended by its existence. Though if I remember correctly from when I bought Madness Returns, that was actually one of the first games that forced you to use Origin even if you bought a retail copy, so I guess you're kind of stuck with it either way. But yeah, I'll throw up the links to the downloads for the FOV fix and the texture pack, and you all have a good day. Until then, just, you know, keep being mad or whatever. We're all mad down here, Alice dear.